Hello team, how we doing? I hope you're feeling sensational today. I also hope you really enjoyed last week's podcast around fat loss and all of the ins and outs that I believe are the best way to not only achieve fat loss, but also sustain it long term. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on for me right now. The reason why I do this is this podcast is not just a place for me to educate you and give you the tools that you need to live life on your terms, to be in great shape and to do the kind of like the goal achievements. It's also a way for me to connect with you, for me to show you about me, to inspire you around the fact that we're all human, okay? Because social media, we've got 3 seconds to get you to watch what we're saying and then connect with what we're saying. And then you might watch a 15 to 30-second video that kind of educates you or inspires you or makes you laugh, right? Podcasts, I've got a little bit more of your time. I know that you'll be potentially driving to work or on a dog walk or walking to the gym or even in the gym listening to this. So I've got a bit of your attention for a bit longer. And for me, this platform is a way for you to get to know me a little bit more. So over the weekend, I was feeling in a really good place. We'd had our enrollment for the coaching club, which we do every single month. We have a kind of an onboarding sequence, if you like, where the primary focus of what we do is we go, right, who else has put their hand up? Who else needs help? Can we actually help them? And if we can, we offer them a call. And then we basically see if they want to work with us. And it's a really busy time. And I have to be super kind of hot on managing my energy. And it got to about Friday and I was pretty whacked, Still managed to train on Saturday, went for a nice long walk with a friend. And then Saturday night, I kind of just started to go under mentally a little bit. And that sounds extreme. I'm not in any way talking about an extreme here, but I went through kind of thought processes, like as we're coming up to, it will actually be the weekend just gone, as you're listening to this, it'll be a year since I left my ex. And although I wouldn't change anything, it's been a very, very interesting journey to navigate. I have been through cycles as an adult of only ever really being in a relationship. And this is the longest I've ever been single, a year. And I think I'm really proud of myself for not just falling back into a relationship. I am single by choice. There have been so many amazing men who have wanted to take me out for food and wanted to go on a date. And, I've been on a couple of dates with a few people. And yeah, I'm just by choice, none of it is right for me. And maybe it's a matter of the right time. Maybe it's just that we're not right for each other or what have you. I'm not too sure. So I'm really proud of myself for not just doing what old Sasha would have done, the unkind of developed Sasha, the Sasha that just followed the trend and the status quo. And, the next hot guy that walked in the gym would generally tend to be the boyfriend, that sort of thing. Obviously, as long as he's single and all that sort of stuff. But it's been a very different journey this time. So I'm really proud of myself. But it definitely, over that last weekend, it brought up a few feelings. And that's what I want to share with you. So I noticed some behaviors in myself last week upon reflection that I was kind of soothing myself with sugar because my week was super busy. Like I said about enrollment week, don't forget enrollment week is on top of the level of coaching that we already do inside the coaching club, which takes up hours each day. It's a lot of work that we have to do. And then you add on top of that, running a business and, joint ventures and looking to do the podcast and all these things. Life is busy and I love it. But it does get to the point sometimes where it's like, oh, Jesus, I need to slow down. And what I can notice upon myself now is with how busy I was the last couple of weeks, I was leaning on more things like I'd be craving sugar like cakes and stuff. And what that basically means is, Sasha, you're fucking tired. You need to go to bed earlier. Okay. But what I actually started to do was just allow myself to have more and more sugar. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because so many of you give yourselves a hard time when you emotionally eat. So many of you give yourselves a hard time when you do go for the fucking pick and mix or whatever it is. But guys, we're human. We've been programmed to do this from when we were children. Even the dentist used to give me a fucking lollipop after I'd been to the dentist. I mean, how backwards is that? So you are conditioned to believe, not even to believe, but you are conditioned to want those things when the emotions are off. But what you're not taught from a young age, and what I think would be so beneficial for kids of today, is to be taught how to actually manage their emotions. I'm feeling tired. What can I actually do to help? Sugar might give us that instant spike, but what's going to help long term? Go for a bath, switch from the constant go, 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 the sympathetic nervous system, into the parasympathetic nervous system. Slow down, breathe, like take time to kind of disengage from doing all the time. Go to bed earlier, get some more food in, but more kind of nutrient dense food, so you're actually helping your body. All of these methods are actually what will help you in that moment, but often we just go for soothing mechanisms because it's what we've learned in the past, and this is 100% what I did that week. So that's one thing that I wanted to share with you, because I don't give a fuck about being judged, guys, right? I know people judge me, and I know a lot of coaches have like a hierarchy in regards to the way I'm very kind of open and I share, the things that I do wrong. I learn from my mistakes. I learn from the things that maybe are my default patterns. I'm not just going to bury my head and not share it with you, because guess what? You do it too. Guess what? The more you can relate to me, the more you trust me, the more you'll listen to what I fucking say, in or out of the coaching club. So I'm never going to hide my truest form of self, even if it does reduce some credibility. But actually, I think vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths we can have. So I'm more than happy to share it with you, because I hear you, I fucking see you. I know what it's like to be absolutely exhausted, to be burnt out, and to be craving sugar. And this is something I used to do every weekend. So the fact that this has happened now, when it hasn't happened for quite a few months, I'm fucking proud of the progress, but I'm equally human. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. The second thing that came up for me, I think, as I was reflecting and kind of looking back over this past year, was I actually felt lonely. And it was really weird to feel that, because I've definitely had so many bouts of that over this past 12 months. But it was weird because I'd had a really nice day with one of my bestest friends, Elle. We took the dogs out for a walk. I'd seen my mum on Friday. So I'd seen people. But as I was sat there on Saturday night, I just felt lonely. I just wanted some attention. I just wanted someone to connect with me, someone to get me. And that's what I think, like, if you're in a relationship and everything's kosher, and you have that person that you have a connection with who really, really, really gets you, like, really feel that, feel that, because that's what it's all about. Life is about connections. It's about having those people or that person next to you that get you, and that's something that we're very particular about when it comes to the coaching club. Every single one of the CC girls can look into another CC girl's face, in their eyes, and go, I fucking understand you. And that, being understood as a human, something that I've really kind of come to understand over this past 12 months. Being understood is so powerful. It is so powerful for human growth, for self-trust, for just that congruency and how you feel as a human is powerful. And this is so on Saturday night, I had to slow down. Like you see girls do this quite a lot, like girls in their 30s, potentially 20s, 30s, single, maybe feeling these feelings of craving attention and that feeling of being understood and that person that gets it. What you often see these girls do is they go out in minimal clothing, they put all the selfies all over Instagram, and it's all about like, give me some attention, right? And we've all been there, we've all done it. But it's that doesn't actually soothe what you need. That doesn't actually give you the thing that you need. So what I wrote down on Saturday night, because I was like, okay, I'm really feeling this feeling. I'm really feeling this feeling of loneliness, craving the attention, da, 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 da. So I wrote down in my journal, I was like, what is it that you actually need? Because it isn't the attention of some guy that you actually don't give a fuck about. It isn't to have likes on Instagram. What actually is it? So I started to journal on it, and I wanted to share it with you. So in that moment, I realized that I need to give myself more love. I needed to potentially take myself out for a meal. Maybe when I'm with people, really connect with them. So put my phone away and really be in that moment with them, and look at how I can accept them more for who they are and how they are in that current moment, rather than trying to get something else out of it. So whether it be like, I'm going for a roast dinner this weekend, whether it be that, like, I don't know what I want from it yet, but how can I really just be in that moment, rather than think, right, I need connection. No. Like, how can we just go into that moment and just be, don't judge anything, just be in that moment. I hear so many people who say they are They're getting really frustrated when they're talking to a colleague or a friend, and they're almost like finishing their sentences because they're like, fucking hell, I ain't got time. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You are trying to manage a situation that is outside of your control, and you're not letting a human be human. No wonder there's no connection there. So that's one thing that I'm really working on. So I wrote down, like, let's connect more in that moment. You know, when you go to a gym or to the gym and you see someone that you know, like, be there with them. Like, I know we haven't all got time to be having a natter, and I will be firm with my timings in the gym, but that 5-minute conversation, that 2-minute conversation, how can you be there more? I also said to myself about like planning more things in that kind of light me up. So, you know, not just kind of doing what I would normally do. Can I go horse riding? Can I take myself swimming? Can I go to the cinema on my own? And it's looking at, in these moments, what else do I need? What else can I try? Because you see so many people that go into relationships that are trying to fill a void that will never fill a void in the relationship, because it's not, that other person is not going to fill the void that's within yourself. And that's why, like, I truly believe that I have grown so much in this past 12 months of being on my own, because I've had to sit with the questions. I've had to ask myself the questions. I've had the opportunity to explore, okay, so you're feeling this. No one external to you is going to fill this void. What is it that you need? And guys, don't get me fucking wrong. This is a hard question to ask yourself. And the things that I wrote down, like, it is, some are really surface level. You know, some is actually like, give yourself the permission to slow the fuck down. Give yourself permission to say no to things. You know, build your self-worth by saying no more. And it's all these tiny little things that will accumulate over time that will enable you to go into your next relationship, or even like carry it forwards in the current relationship that you're in with expectations that can be met, but also the ones that you may have been holding up until now, the expectations that can't be met by someone else, they can only be met by yourself. They will no longer be there, because you understand you more than anything else. And that's what I'm super excited about. You know, I do look forwards, and this is something that I don't think I've actually shared before, but I spoke to my mental performance coach about it in about November time. He said, what is it that you want? And I was like, I really fucking want a relationship. Like, I really want a relationship. I cannot wait to be in a relationship with someone who we just fully fucking get each other. And now I'm not of the idea, like the kind of skewed idea that it's not going to be easy. I understand that relationships are hard, especially when you are someone who really does understand yourself, because you kind of need someone else to understand themselves too, because otherwise you're just going to constantly be holding up a mirror to them and it'll be fucking tricky. But deep down, that is what I want. But I know that there are so many things that I need to still work on, that I want to work on, these voids that I need to fill myself, and that kind of true congruency and happiness before I even consider embarking on that journey. So even though it's like one of the top things that I want, and, you know, I remember as a kid, I've never been bothered about having children, never, ever, ever. That may change, but I'm 31 years old and it hasn't so far to date. But as a kid, I always dreamed about getting married. I always dreamed about it. Not so much now, you know, I'm a bit like, if it does, great. If not, no worries. But there's always been this thing that I really do look forward to. And it's having that deep connection and understanding where you're both on a journey of growth together. You both get each other. You both have your own lives. You both live your own lives. But you kind of like weave in and out of each other's lives and complement. Again, like I said earlier, I'm not under the false impression that it isn't going to be hard, because of course it is. You're bringing two lives together. It's always going to be tricky at times, but that is something that I want. And that is why these moments where, like Saturday evening, where I kind of reach that moment of feeling a bit shit, a bit down, and a bit, the word is just meh. Yeah. I could so easily go and just kind of put a plaster over that wound, but actually sitting with it, asking the questions, thinking about what I can do to help myself in this moment, rather than what someone else can do to temporarily soothe it, is so powerful. And I wanted to share both those points around kind of like emotional regulation, and also like me being fully aware of what it is that I want in life. You know, I do want that relationship, but having to delay that gratification of either just attention or, you know, embarking down the dating journey and that sort of route is not a now thing, because there's other stuff that I need to understand about myself before I get there. And it's actually really empowering to say, yeah, I want it, but it's not a now thing. You know, most of my attention and kind of driver this year is about, you know, coaching club, developing that, helping people more, looking at different ways that we can do it. That is number one. Second is family and friends. Third is my physique, my energy, and all those wonderful things. Actually, I'll probably say that second, then it's family and friends. Okay, then it's spending time with them. That is they are pretty much 3 full-time jobs. I don't actually have time to explore and to really kind of give someone else the energy that they deserve and the time that they deserve as well. So it's just an interesting kind of realization that I had, because we often do just fill our own void. Not fill our own voids. We often do look external to fill a void, whether it be alcohol, food, relationships, attention, social media scrolling. Whereas we don't often bring it inwards enough and ask ourselves the question, because it's fucking hard. Like I said earlier, like for me to understand in that moment, what I was feeling was kind of lonely and missing connection. What did I need? It's nothing external. It's always within. So what can I do to help? And it is helping, you know. And I actually woke up on Monday morning, like really proud of myself for not doing any of the behaviors that I've potentially done in the past that I kind of thought would be the things that would answer, but actually it really isn't. I.e., putting a booty picture on social media to be like, yeah, come and give me some love and attention, because everyone knows when you do it, it doesn't bring you anything. It doesn't make you feel any better. In fact, you just look at the likes and you're like, oh, boring, go away. So complete transparency from me there, complete open honesty. And I genuinely believe life will be different and better if we can all learn to manage our emotions better, if we can all seek to understand ourselves to a different level, because then we're not just going to be constantly putting plaster over wounds that needs a stitch. We can actually fix the problems. We can actually get to the root causes of the voids, and therefore we can make our lives significantly better because the voids will no longer be there. So, interesting one. And I suppose my takeaway from this is for you, become committed to self-awareness. Become committed to understanding yourself to a whole new level, so that you're no longer projecting or deflecting how you are being onto other people. How can you learn to really explore yourself in 2023 so that you can then regulate your emotions, you can fill your own voids, you can meet your own needs, so that when you navigate through this journey of a slightly different approach, life gets better. You're no longer looking for the external resources to fill your own needs, because everything is within. And sure, it might mean doing external things like connecting with a friend, getting, you know, really being present with your dog or whatever, and really kind of like looking into their eyes and feeling that connection that you have with these people. But it is about being intentional from within. It is about you identifying what's going on in you and looking at ways to resolve those issues within you. Have an incredible day whenever it is that you've listened to this. And if it's popped up any kind of thoughts for you or any revelations or shit, I do that, please let me know on social media. You can either hit me up on Instagram at Sasha Holly Bye or Facebook, Sasha Bye, and I'll be there. So have an incredible day, and I will speak to you very soon.